Hello and welcome to another video by Training Made Clear, and this is on the imperial and the metric system. But currency is not really an imperial or a metric system, but it has traits like it. That's why we are going to just look at this. So lesson number 8 is on currency. We are affected by the imperial and the metric system, and we've had now, this will be our 8th lesson on the imperial and the metric system, and as you can see, lesson number 8 is the currency one. So I just want to show you the South African currency currently in use, and you can see they have coins and they have notes. They have coins from a value of like 1 cent, and I think the next value would be 5 cents, then it will become 10 cents. You can see there's two kinds here. This is probably the more recent one, because I think the nickel coin would have become more valuable than the actual 10 cent it's cast as. So they probably would have discarded these and gone over to these. And they did the same with the 20 cent. They got rid of the nickel and went over to brass or copper mixture. Yeah, you can see a very old coin. I think it is a half a cent. There was a time when South Africa even had a half a cent. And look at it, it's like 3 times the size of a 1 cent. And if it's made out of the same material, then this coin in its material value is more worth than this one. Yeah, so we went to 20 cents, then 50 cents, and then we went to the 1 rand and the 2 rand, and there's now a 5 rand coin as well. Their notes used to have a 1 rand note, a 2 rand note, and then a 5 rand note. Those have all been made obsolete, replaced by coins, and so they start at a 10 rand note, and they have a 50 rand note, and a 100 rand note, and a 200 rand note. The American currency, I've just taken a lot of different coins. As you can see, they have a lot of different coins as well. Some of these coins are very old. I think these ones here, you can see they look very old type of coins. And their notes, I have seen the $1 note. The $2 is very scarce. I've actually only seen one once and managed to obtain it in the year gone by. And it's the only one I've ever actually seen, and I've got it in my collection. And then there's the $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100. That's their notes. I know their coin, you've probably heard of a nickel. I think that was a 5 cent value. Then the British currency. Now, South Africa and America are, at the moment, they are a decimal currency. Britain is now a decimal currency, but we will discuss how they were before. They were like an imperial currency. The currency was very hard to understand and work with, but they've changed and they are now on a decimal currency as well. So that's why I say, even though it's not really a decimal or imperial system, there was definitely traits for it to look like that kind of a system. So the British coins, they have some unique coins, and I'll just point out, like this coin is called a Guinea. This was an old penny that had a hole in it. This was a 1 shilling. They have a 2 shilling coin. They have a half a crown. They have a crown. And yeah, they have a 3 penny, which would be a tikkie. I remember the tikkie being small like this one. So this was also a 3 pence. So this was a 1937 tikkie. It was quite big. I remember tikkies probably around about the 1960s to 70s. I remember seeing tikkies. So you can see the They also have a £1 note, and I think I have a picture of that coming up later. But there's their notes that they use, 5, 10, 20, and 50. The £50 note is not something that you easily pay with. Not many people carry that large amount of cash with them. And if you land up paying with a £50 note, it will be scrutinized by every manager that you have to pay at any place. They'll call the manager, and the manager will put a pen mark on it, special pen, and it'll go under special lighting to make sure it's not a counterfeit. So in this lesson, we will discuss 3 different currencies: the South African rand, the US dollar, and the British pound. A basic comparison of the 3 currencies. All 3 today use the decimal system. So the rand, you can see his symbol is R, and it's 1 rand is equal to 100 cents. The dollar, the symbol is an S with a stripe through it, and $1 is 100 cents. The pound looks like an L shape, and £1 is now 100 pence. But we will see what the United Kingdom's money used to look like. So the South African rand is like a decimal. It's in units of 10. It was introduced in 1961 when South Africa became a republic. It replaced the South African pound. Fully decimal from the start, 1 rand equals 100 cents. Coins and notes commonly used are 10 cent, 20, 50, 1 rand, 2 rand, 5 rand, and notes are 10, 20, 50, 100, and 200. You can see over here, basically, if you multiply the cents by whatever, you would get X amount of rands. When I was younger, South Africa fell under the British rule. That would be around about the 1960s that I can remember. And it was only up until 1961 that the British money was used. Once South Africa became a republic, they had their own money. But before, I can remember actually using pounds, shillings, and pence. And I remember the coins. A lot of them I remember. The US dollar originates from the Spanish silver dollar. Maybe you've heard the saying pieces of 8. The decimal system was adopted in 1792. The structure of $1 equals 100 cents. Common units was 1 cent, a penny, 5 cents called a nickel, 10 cents called a dime, 25 cents was called a quarter, and then they had $1, $5, $10, $20, etc. Again, very simple and decimal based. The British pound, the modern system. Today, decimal system, £1 equals 100 pence, and it's written 100p. Coins are 1p, 2p, 5p, 10p, 20p, 50p, £1, £2. The notes are £5, £10, £20, and £50. But historically, the pound had one of the most complex currency systems ever used. The old British system before 1971, before decimalisation, pre-1971, £1 equaled 20 shillings, and 1 shilling had 12 pence. Therefore, £1 equaled 240 pence. Now, £1 is 100 pence. So it was written as pounds, looked like an L with a stripe through it. Shillings was written as an S, and pence was a D. Not a P, a D. Came from the Roman denarius. So an example, £2, 10 shillings, and 6 is written like this in the blue. £2, 10 shillings, and 6 pence. Okay, the old British units explained. So here you can see the tikkie. It's a 1937 tikkie. And I think today, it's a 1931 tikkie is worth a small fortune. So if you happen to have one, hold on to it because it's worth a small fortune. So those days, 3 cents, 3 pence was called a tikkie. The penny was the smallest common unit, and 12 pennies equaled 1 shilling. The shillings was used as an S for shillings, and it was 12 pence for a shilling, and 20 shillings equaled 1 pound. 1 pound was often called a bob. The florin was worth 2 shillings. It was introduced as an early step toward decimalization. A half crown was worth 2 shillings and 6 pence. A crown was worth 5 shillings. And the pound was worth 20 shillings. So here's their pound, which is a note, and there is the crown and the half crown. The Guinea. The Guinea is especially interesting. 1 guinea equaled 21 shillings. That equals 1 pound and 1 shilling, or 1 pound and 5 in modern decimal. Even after it stopped being an actual coin, it was used for horse trading, tailoring, art sales, professional fees like doctors and lawyers. And why? Because it sounded more prestigious to charge 10 guineas instead of 10 pound. A summary of comparison. If we look at the feature and the rand, dollar and pound, we look at the decimal today. Rand, yes. Dollar, yes. Pound, yes. Simple system, the rand, yes. The dollar, yes. And the pound, yes. Only today's, not the past. Historically complex, the rand, no. The dollar, no. The pound was a yes. It had shillings, the rand, no. The dollar, no. The pound, yes. It had guineas, the rand, no. The dollar, no. The pound, yes. The old base, a rand was 100, dollar was 100, the pound was 240, and now it's 100. So they lost 140 cents when they changed over. Here is a picture of a Guinea, 1776, United Kingdom. Why Britain changed to decimal? In 1971, Decimal Day, the UK simplified the system because the old system was confusing. Calculations were difficult. Trade and accounting needed standardization. They converted the pound to be equal to 100 new pence. So in the old days, there was your penny. 1 penny multiplied by 12 gave you 1 shilling. 1 shilling multiplied by 20 gave you 1 pound. So in the old system, 1 pound was 12 times 20, which was equal to 240 pennies. Now in the new system, 1 pound is equal to 100 pennies. These are the UK coins in circulation today, and you can see front and back on each coin. And so we have the 1 penny, 2 penny, 5, 10, 20, 50. And then you have the 1 pound and you have a 2 pound. 100 pennies equals 1 pound, no longer a note but a coin. It's now like a metric system decimal. These are their notes in circulation today: 5 pound, 10 pound, 20 pound and 50 pound. If you found this video interesting and you like it, please show that you like it, subscribe to it, share it, and comment on it, and follow. And thank you for watching.